So today we're talking about domains and ranges from a graph, and we're going to add one extra little part to it. I printed you out a sheet. I have all the graphs printed up on the board. We're just going to go through it. So let's do the domain and the domain and the range. What's the domain mean? Are we talking about the x values or the y values? Go, Jamie. The x values. So what is the domain of this graph? What's the lowest it goes in the x direction? No, if you were starting your hand and sweeping it through from left to right, right? Whoops, damn it. Where does it start at? It starts at -1, and is there an open or a closed hole on it? Closed. Nice. So we're going to put a hard bracket on -1, right? I'm going to do it this way, and then let's sweep our hand over. Are there any holes in this graph?
No.
No. Where does it go down to? 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here, and then I'm going to put a hard bracket around it. Let me give you one other way that we could have written it, because I know some people like to do it this way. You could also have used just inequalities to describe it. It would have looked like this. Whether you do it with the brackets or you do it with the inequalities is cool. If you're going up to pre-calc, you're going up to calculus, to be honest with you, you are going to see much more of this because it is really annoying to write things out like that. There's too many things that you could leave off. Like, let's just say by accident you forget to put the bar underneath it. And yeah, so people found that, a lot of people have that problem. It wasn't just you. So then they said, you know what? You're right. You're right. We have to make this a little sleeker. And so they did it like that. Let's do B. What's the range? What's the range of this one? -3 to what? -3 to 1, hard brackets. You could have also written that out like this. Please remember what's what. Domains are always x's, ranges are always y's. And there you go. So be quiet for a minute, be quiet for a minute, right? We're going to go over this again, but this is just the simple introduction of what a function is. For today, since all we're talking about is graphs, okay, something is a function if it passes the vertical line test. We're going to write that down in a minute. What do I mean by passes the vertical line test? Let me grab a color. Let's just grab a black one, all right? There's my vertical line, okay? Something is a function. If you can take a vertical line, and people often use their pencil, okay? If you can move your pencil through and it only hits once at most on the graph, then it's a function. Do you see it? How we're sweeping it through? So, no. Do you see how it only hits once on the graph, hits once on the graph, hits once on the graph? Okay? That's different. That's different than suppose like our homework was like this, right? And if you see how it hits twice? This is not a function. That thing in red is not a function. A straight line is always a function. It depends. A parabola tips sideways. Let's not examine all the things. Just get it down that we're sweeping our hand through. You see it? Hits once. This is a function. And we're going to say yes because it passes the vertical line test. Okay, let's take a little side detour. Let's take a little side detour. Let me just add a thing. Whoops. Okay, and let me just draw a few pictures. Let's draw a few pictures, like this and like this, right? Yeah. How about like this and like this? Yeah. How about even stuff, weird-looking stuff that's like this, and then splits it over here, and let's see, it would go like that, and we're going to have, and I'm going to tell you that this is going to form a barrier. Okay? This is not going to break past that barrier. Now let's talk about our vertical lines again. Let me go back. Let me do this. Let me just grab this for a minute. Where's cut? Cut. Okay. There's my line. There's my line. Now let's talk for a minute. Functions. Functions. Is this a function? Yes. It is a function. Look. Okay, yeah, this is a function. How about this one? Is this a function? No, it's definitely not a function. Not a function. How about this one over here? Is this a function? Yeah. And how about this one over here? Is this a function? And how about this one over here? Is this a function? It is. Look, it is. This barrier later on is, we're going to call it a funny looking, we're going to call it a funny word. It's asymptote. Yeah. It's going to be called, well, for right now, just think of it as a barrier. Okay, but an asymptote. Yeah, but later on it's going to be a barrier. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back to our problems again. Domains and ranges. What's the domain of this one? Brandon, buddy, we got to take off your hood. Yep. Nope. Emily. Yeah, you don't even have to put it in hard brackets. You could just write 2. All the x values are on 2. And what about the range? You could. It's just a little weird. If you're feeling like that, you want to do it that way, that's fine. -1 to 3, yeah. You're not going to get points taken off per se. It's just a little weird. You know, it's like, okay. And how about, well, kind of. You might be laughed at. But could I really mark you wrong? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It would just be really random. Like people would be like, okay, so now I'm taking my bar. It almost looks like a baton. I'm sweeping it through. Is this a function? Look at how many times it hits. It hits at all of those points, like every single one of them. This is not a function. No. We're going to say, is it a function? We're saying no, because it fails the vertical. The VLT. That's making me hungry. What are you talking about? VLT. Vegan lettuce tomato. Why? Jamie, you're excellent. So we're going to do this one. Let's take the last part first. It is not a function. Jamie, why isn't it a function?
It fails the VLT.
And what does VLT stand for? Very nice. VLT. Vertical line. I already wrote it down. I'll do it on the next one. Vertical line test. Now the question is like, how are we going to do the next part? How are we going to do? It is. And what? So hard bracket on -2. What's going down on 0? Soft, because it's 2 open holes. Nope. -2 is an open hole.
Oh, sorry.
So what am I writing down, Carly? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Come on. Let's do stuff where there's breaks in it. Let's do stuff where there's breaks in it. Now take a look. First, let's do the domain. If you are looking, look, where's the lowest point on the domain? Good, and it's a hard bracket. Let's put that on there. So I'm going, and then all of a sudden I'm here and I jump down here. Is it continuous? It is, because it's like there was a jump, but there's no open holes, so it's continuous. So it's from like -3 down to 3. Okay. All right. So there we go. There's that one. Yeah. Right. Now how about the range? What's the range? It's -1, -1 and 2. So you could just say, if you wanted to, you could say -1, 2. No brackets. What's that? I don't know. We'd have to think about it. Why no brackets? Because the brackets signify everything in between. And there's that gigantic open space.
So it's -1.
Yes. Now, is this a function? What do you think? Whoa! Zoe was talking. What do you think, Zoe? It is or it isn't? Right there. It's not a function. No, because it fails the vertical line VLT.
Wait, I have a question. How can the domain and also I mean, yeah, it also how come it also wouldn't be negative one?
How come it also wouldn't be -1? -1 is included. Like, Jamie, when I write it out like this stuff in red means literally all of this.
But it includes negative one.
It's everything in between, everything in this range. You see it? So it includes -1, yeah. Yep. Is that the one I'm looking for? There's one where it's like lots of them. No, not that one. Here, let's do 6. Let's do 6. Take a look. So the domain is from -3 to 2. And here's the interesting part, right? When you're going across, you're like, but this is a closed and this one's an open. This closed part right here fills in that circle there so that it actually is continuous.
So then it will be a function?
It will be a function. Do you see that there's an open? If you have two things that are separated, like one is open and one is closed, they essentially combine together to produce this. It's like this closed part fills in that.
So it's like filling in that other street, alright?
Yes.
One.
Yep. Yep. Now, what's the range?
Wait. Oh yeah. Negative one. Oh. Negative one, two. And one.
-1 and 1. And is it a function, yes or no?
Yeah.
Why?
Pass.
Yeah, yes, because it passes the vertical line test.
How do you not do a bracket?
No brackets. The only time you're using the brackets, so if there's just a point in time, you're just using normal numbers. Like, hold on one second. Like suppose you're just talking about that point right there. Yeah? Then all you're using is just numbers like this. But if you're talking about like a line with stuff in between, that's what those brackets does, is it catches all the stuff in between. Right? Jamie, you could think of it like a net. Sorry about that. I wanted to write some English. Okay. What do you think? Is this easy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Piece of cake. Let's take a look at one real world example, then you get your homework and then we're out of here, okay? All right. What's the domain of this function? Take a look at it. What is the domain of it?
4 to 13.
Good. 4 to 13, the question is which choice is it, A or B?
B.
Why?
Because it's on the line too. Oh, because it's X.
Because it's X, and the domain always refers to X. They do that on your Regents exam and on my tests. Remember, domain is the X values, range are the Y values. Be careful about the choices that you choose.